guys are done.
We're done?
I mean, you're distracted, so...
Yeah.
Listen, you better let us see the outtakes. Oh, you better turn around.
What happened? Excuse me.
By the way, the scenery here just changed, so we're just kind of figuring it out as we go along. Nice work by you, sir.
Jesus Christmas.
Yeah, this is totally, this is the best. I'm partially, yeah, oh. Push that into the ground for me, will you?
The steak.
You're good at that. You got the Dracula in you.
Oh, you lost your,
Oh, your whiskey went flying.
If we're live, this is messed up, but if it's recorded, it's going to be hilarious.
Yeah, cool. Look at Jeremy going. The Irish
Half
side
Irish.
is the Delco people.
What the? Oh, that's Bruno.
Oh, Bruno. Don't break
I'm going to
this.
have a heart attack.
They actually they were running plays. I love live events. This is the best.
Where the hell were we at?
So welcome back to Referee Forum. Welcome to another episode of Referee Roulette. I'm Dan Falcone.
Eric Bowe.
Eric, you got some information you want to go with?
Yeah, so on one of our recent podcasts, we had one of our listeners fact check us, which is good because it means people are paying attention.
Right.
So I made an errant quote about in the last 25 years on the boys' side of the state championships, it's all been won by private schools. I don't even know why I said it that way, but the actual quote on X, formerly known as Twitter, was from a guy named Harry Specter. And he said, since 1999, 25 Pennsylvania state championships have been awarded in boys basketball. No state championships the year of COVID.
Right.
Charter and private schools, which are non-boundary schools. Kids can go from wherever.
Well, can you explain what a non-boundary school is?
So these schools can take kids from outside of their district. So if I live in a certain area,
right,
I've got to go to a certain school, right?
Right.
So non-boundary schools mean I can go, as long as I can get transportation to the school, I can go to the school.
Right.
Okay. So it said that charter and private schools, non-boundary schools, have won 25. Public schools or boundary schools have won 0.
Right.
And it says, what say you PIAA, hashtag you have a problem, hashtag PIAA.
Right.
So I saw the 25 and that's what I remember from the quote. As a matter of fact, following this year's state championship, there have been 30 championships on the boys' side since 1999. Of those, 24 were won by non-boundary schools and 6 were won by boundary schools. And I felt it be appropriate to correct that so that we had the accurate information.
Right.
And what I will say is, I'll mention them because, hey, these kids, they stayed local, they played local, and they won a championship. We got Moon High School, we've got Loyal Sock, Reading twice, and then this year, Aliquippa and Central York. So congratulations to those guys. But yeah, so out of the last 30 state boys championships in the division since 1999,
right,
6 have been won by public schools. So I think that just speaks to the imbalance of public versus private. But that was the whole point.
Didn't Coatesville fit in there anywhere?
Yeah, that's so pre-1999.
Pre-1999.
So I completely took the quote off Twitter and misspoke. Okay.
Right.
So I guess here's the good news though.
Right.
As an official, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't stop people from telling me I'm constantly wrong. Right? So, and I think you had actually texted me last night that you were experiencing something in lacrosse where you had a coach up your partner's rear about what he was doing.
Listen, I mean, I hate to start off negative, but it's just part of what we go through. It's part of the experience. And this is lacrosse. Now, mind you, I'm fairly new at lacrosse just the last few years. I'm kind of doing club sports with it. I'm doing a little school stuff. But it's more of, I like to jokingly say it's a wine and cheese crowd. They're not the kind of people that just yell and scream at you the whole time or complain about the calls. They'll make comments but if you're in basketball, somebody's yelling at you every time you go up and down the floor, right? Or football, it's the same kind of thing. Somebody always has something to say. In general, these guys are pretty cool.
Right.
But this is a guy who he's a JV coach. In other words, he's not the head coach of the high school kind of thing. And he should be setting a good example for his team. And him complaining about a call that we didn't see as a foul or a penalty, he just kept on going incessantly. And I mean, it kept on going again. And he wasn't yelling, but he just kept nin. And then it just got to a point where I finally had to address the guy. I was like, Coach, wait a minute. And I had to stop everything. I said, Coach, you made your point. We heard you. We heard you the first 10 times you did it. I don't like to make those comments, but it got to that point where I had to say something. And my partner did not step up and quell that situation to the point where we could have moved on. So I addressed it, and then I had to tell him, I was like, look, the next thing that happens is we'll have to throw a penalty on. No, we don't want to do that. We never want to do that. Matter of fact, we want the game to just keep moving, to have everybody running around, get their exercise or whatever. But he just kept on making comments in a passive-aggressive way enough to be annoying. It's like he just completely forgot about the game and about coaching the game, but he just kept on saying, you guys blew that. You guys blew that. It's like, oh, wait a minute, that's not the rule. These kids are going to get hurt. And you start making accusations like that, and then it affects everything. It affects the whole game. And then if the parents pick up on it on the other side of the field, God bless us. We got lucky because they didn't hear him complaining. But if they start, then they'll start. And then that's how, those are the kinds of things that snowball and becomes a problem. The other thing that happened in the game, and again, these are kids running around with sticks. They're called crosses in lacrosse. And there's contact. It's a contact sport.
Yeah.
I mean, you got kids and they've got testosterone going or balls flying around, whatever. They're allowed to make contact. They're allowed to hit each other with sticks, the whole kind of thing. But it's another thing to do it in a way that's excessively violent where people can get hurt or even on the cutting edge of it, especially in a JV game. Like, you don't want that kind of stuff. So what you try to do is you try to talk to the player before you have to throw a penalty. It's like, look, you could take a little bit easier there. I mean, and at least you get some acknowledgement from them, it's a good thing. But if they don't listen to you, that's when we have to act.
Right.
Right. So.
Well, and I guess I should probably mention, there's probably a lot of chatter in the background. This is our first live podcast from an event. So a quick mention, we're currently in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania at the Luxor Lifestyle Apartments, like I said, in Phoenixville, PA. And behind us, we have two vendors. We've got Goose Cigars, which is out of Limerick, PA. And then we have Deezy's Famous Cheesesteaks, which is a food truck 2 spots behind. One of our podcast followers, Connor, is sitting in the second tent giving out some of his samples of whiskey. So it's a whiskey and cigar event here at the Luxor. That's why we're shooting live today.
On a gorgeous day.
On a great
Saturday. A little breezy, but that's good. So.
And I am a little fired up about coach interaction. So a buddy of mine texted me this morning, and I know you texted me last night about the lacrosse, but a friend of mine, Tyler, is a USTA official, and he does junior, high school, and collegiate events. And he was parking at Elizabethtown College this morning, and to do the tennis event. But he said, as he's walking out, I guess Elizabethtown had rented out the facility to an AAU program or something like that. He goes, I can't believe I'm walking to my event and I'm watching a parent berate an official in the parking lot, ... Youth sports is crazy. And so it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I feel like what's
that's tennis.
Well, no, so he's doing tennis, but he's walking past. So I guess the point is, he's about to start his day walking past another organization, whether it be soccer or baseball. He didn't tell me what the sport was.
Right.
But he's walking past an official at the end of his day getting obliterated by a parent. It's just, it's a virus. It's everywhere.
There's no line anymore. I mean, people think that it's okay to come and attack you verbally, threateningly, even physically off of the game. Like, you're a private person after the game's over.
Right.
I mean, as soon as that game's over and you're done, then it's over.
Right.
And even during that game, they shouldn't really do it anyway.
Right.
But if they're following you to your car or they're confronting you in a personal way, that's a nightmare. I mean, because we get stuck too. How do you react? What can you do? I mean, I'm not going to attack anybody, but if you get attacked, now you got a problem. If you get physically attacked, you can defend yourself, but what ends up happening? You spend all that time after that. You can spend 5 years going to court, having a lawyer, have to spend money over what? Sport?
And you sent me an article, I think it was midweek, about Washington State has referees implementing body cameras.
Yes.
And so what they're experimenting out there is for coach and parent referee interactions to see just how bad it is. And I think the civil penalties now, it equates to striking a teacher, whatever that fine is.
Yes.
That's what they're trying to elevate it to, which is unfortunate. It's getting to that point where we can't just have a contest. And you know what's funny? It's like, because I would love to talk about youth baseball and t-ball today,
Right.
because it's a joke what the parents are like. It's just these kids, they can't even catch and throw yet, but the parents are like, oh, you know. But no, like, you know, I think that the saddest part is that we have to worry about that stuff now. We can't just have the contest. And a lot of it has to do with, I think, parents do all this work organizing these events, and they put so much stake in it. The kids just show up and play. But how often do you drive past the field and see kids playing pickup baseball or playing pickup basketball? So
Pickup baseball?
Well, yeah, because
I haven't seen anything like that since, well, before you were born. How about that?
Right. we can go down that road.
We just did.
But I remember.
I mean, seriously, look, there's nobody over there right now. There's a baseball field.
Right.
There's nobody playing pickup over there.
Remember, like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, ghost runners, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like that doesn't happen anymore.
Wait a minute, you guys had ghost runners in your era?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, shocking. As a 42-year-old, I can mention ghost runners.
I was going to say,
which they put back in Major League Baseball now, or whatever that second base and dance rule is.
It came back into vogue.
Yeah.
It definitely did. So.
But I feel like, as much as, and I don't know what the issue, everyone wants to blame video games, this, that, and the other, but I wonder how much of it is that element versus that because of what we went through, we wanted to have a nice safe spot for our kids, or safe, whatever that might be. But everything has to be organized now. No one just goes out and plays.
Right.
And because there's so much time invested, the parents have an extra chip on their shoulder.
Right.
You know, and then they charge other parents to come watch their kids.
Oh my God!
It's a recipe for disaster.
We're not going to go into King of Prussia again, are we?
Well, no. Okay, we'll skip King of Prussia. Let's attack Little League Baseball. You know, on a Saturday morning with the moms and their Stanley Cups with the spike cranberry.
Yeah.
Johnny! Like the kids batting 0 for 40.
Right.
You know, touches the ball. Coaches waving him in from first because no one can catch.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Little League Baseball.
Well, wait a minute. Did we talk about this in a previous episode? I was telling you about the flag football down in a place within 20 minutes of here. There are little kids playing on a 40-yard field, okay? And they have flags. And it's just all passing. There's no running, no nothing. But they're little kids, 3rd, 4th grade, that kind of thing. And at the game, and all you got to do, this is actually one of the better stealing money events for us, where it's so easy, you feel like you're stealing.
Don't give away our steer.
All right, don't give it up. So
it's our take back.
So, but you're in the middle of the field. You don't really have to run. You don't have to do anything. You just stand there and keep everybody in front of you. There's 7-on-7, that kind of thing. But at these games, there are actually people who are on the sidelines gambling.
Oh, yeah.
They're betting on if little Johnny is going to get a touchdown or not, or little so-and-so. And by the way, it's girls and boys playing together, too, because they're that young, nobody cares. They're all pretty equal, and their athletic ability and that kind of stuff. But they're actually gambling.
Yeah.
And I've heard them do it, and I've asked them about it, and they're like, yeah, we do it.
Well,
and it's fun. And they're saying, we throw $1 here, $1 there. It's just wow, man. I mean, but it's gotten to that point. I mean, I guess it's so easy to bet on your phone now. You have ways to do it. It's kind of made it easier for everybody to think about doing it. And now it's kind of it's fun.
Right.
But is it the gateway to bigger problems?
Well, I think that, and then the element of how often you see this at Pop Warner football, and again, we'll go with Little League baseball. And I'm not attacking the Little League organization, but just the idea of we talked about those pop-up tents in the bathroom episode we did.
Right.
But you've got parents showing up early. They post up. They do pre-games.
Yeah.
So there's alcohol in the parking lot.
Oh, they're tailgating.
They're tailgating.
They are absolutely tailgating.
You've got betting.
Which I don't mind that, as long as they behave themselves.
In moderation.
In moderation. Because and I can't say it's everybody. I mean, I will honestly.
No.
But there are places where I cringe when I go because I know what kind of an element it's there. They don't behave. And there's certain places, certain areas that do. They just do. And it's not everybody either. They could have the best organization you can name, right?
Right.
But there's one group of people that they will cause problems. It's just how it is.
Right.
So that's not fun. But in general, you're right. They do that kind of crazy
And a
stuff.
lot of times, the organization that has those parents they're the ones on the board
Yeah.
or make the decisions. So there's never any discipline. There's never any, and that's a shame,
Right.
know. But yeah, so I feel like you're adding elements to the game where the parents, and I don't even see the coaches, because the coaches really, their responsibility really is manage the rotation, manage getting kids playing time, and then ultimately, the kids do want to win, to a degree.
Right.
But the second the game's over, they're more likely to worry about what's going to happen when they get home, whether they're playing Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever it is. They're going back to whatever.
Or what they're
doing.
going to eat on the way home.
Right.
Like, what fast food place do you take me
Right.
to?
But the parents are going to hold it and begrudge it, and
Right.
But I think when you add a lot of those things in one element, so if you've got drinking, you've got gambling, and you have a dad that has a busted knee that wants to live his life vicariously through his son, that's a recipe for disaster.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, right? That to me is an old school thing. People used to say that a lot about people. Like, oh, you're just trying to, you're living for your kid. Oh, I know you're a has-been, like that kind of stuff. But I don't think that's as much anymore. I think now, because now they have so many other ways to go. You can gamble, you can party more, like it's more accepted kind of thing.
So you're advocating gambling on youth sports?
Am I advocating it? Listen, everything in moderation. I want everybody to have a good time. I mean, honestly, I'm not some prude. It's prude. Is that too old a word for you, prude?
I'm okay with prude.
You're okay with prude?
Yeah, I can handle that.
Okay, no Borberg me today, just prude.
Right.
So, no, but I don't mind if you have a good time. I mean, look at what we're doing here.
Yeah.
These people are out. This is fantastic. It's a nice day. People are enjoying a cigar. They're enjoying some whiskey. They got a nice food truck over here. And we're podcasting. It's a beautiful thing. Why not?
But if we added a person in stripes, someone would be getting yelled at right now.
I did think about wearing stripes today because we're outside and see if but I figured people would start coming over and heckling, which would have been fun too, because we can handle all that.
All right, so I really wanted to, so since it's nice outside, I know you're a lacrosse official, but I want to get your perspective on, and I had mentioned it a couple of times leading up, and would you ever, because the sport that's hurting the most, from what I understand, is softball. Right. But would you ever want to be a plate umpire and call balls and strikes? I mean, seriously.
You really want my answer?
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So the softball that you're talking about the high school girls softball?
Yeah.
Okay. And
well, that's the sport that's hurting. I'm just saying in general.
Right.
Once you got the patch, you're pretty much doing whatever the level is.
You're doing whatever.
Right.
But that's what softball is. So here's the deal. So my father is 81 years old. He's done 3 state championships behind the plate for the PIAA, doing the girls softball.
I did not know
balls,
that.
Doing balls and strikes, as well as the other. He's done basketball, he's done football, he's even doing volleyball, for God's sakes. Dad, I love you, but that's totally stealing money. And he never played a game of volleyball in his entire life. Yes, he's never played. Maybe at the beach or something like that. I seem to kind of like my cousins.
Well, he's always tan, so he's definitely getting something.
Oh my God, yes, he totally is. So back to where we were. So we were discussing softball,
right?
And we were talking about how my dad does it and all that, and balls and strikes. Your question was about that. So what it comes down to is that's a hard sport to do. That's a totally hard sport to do.
Well, is it a hard sport? I'm talking specifically about behind the plate. I don't necessarily.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to.
No. I'm getting there right now.
Okay.
So what I was going to say is, I get yelled at enough in basketball.
Right.
I get yelled at enough in football. By the time spring comes around, I don't have enough bandwidth to handle every single pitch somebody's bitching.
Right.
And there's a story for you. So I used to go and watch the girlfriend's daughters play softball.
Right.
And it's like the cowbells incessantly, the chanting, the screaming, the people yelling. It's fun. It's nice, right? And it just sort of turned out these girls were actually really good athletes, right? And they were very good at softball. But what I remember is every single pitch, somebody was complaining, and not just complaining, but loudly complaining every pitch.
Now let's validate this. Now I'll let you continue.
Yeah.
Are they complaining like dugout behind, or are they behind the cage?
No.
They're
No.
just okay.
They're everywhere.
Okay.
Here, let me go.
Because
Here.
I'm
so here's,
thinking
so
about
here's,
I'm thinking about the dad behind the cage, like behind the
No, that's this is even worse.
Right.
I mean, the guy
'Cause they
behind,
can't see
at least
okay.
he may be able to see something,
Right.
right? So, it's October. I just finished 6 hours of football. It's almost Halloween.
Right.
Right. That's how cold it is out. Right. It's like probably 30 degrees, whatever. They're doing a doubleheader for girls softball up in Douglasville, which is about half an hour from here, that kind of thing. And there's one umpire for the whole game, right? So the last thing I want to do is go sit there and freeze my rear end off. And it was breezy. And the cowbells were going off and all that kind of stuff. So we were sitting, here's the third base bag. We're 10 yards to the side of it. There were people that were 10 yards past us down the left field line. And everybody's watching the game, that kind of thing. And there's stands here, there's stands there, there's stands on the other side. These people here, 10 yards off the field and 10 yards down the line, every single pitch. Oh, no, that's terrible. Oh, come on, Blue. Oh, you got to get that, Blue. Blah, 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 blah. And mind you, like I said, I'm tired. And I'm cold. And I'm kind of like, this is the last thing I want to do, but I'm there, you know, right? And this went on for like 3 innings. And I finally couldn't take it anymore. And I looked at her and I said, honey, I'm sorry, but she goes, look, just don't, no, I'm not going to say anything bad. Excuse me, sir, I got a question for you. So I'm not an umpire or anything like that, but I really want to understand something. How can you tell from where you're sitting? And I made sure he knew what I was saying. It's 10 this way and 10 that way down the left field line. How in the world can you tell from here if it's a ball or a strike? I mean, seriously, help me understand that, which is one of my friend's favorite expressions. And he was just like, well, I can see if it's up or down. I mean, yeah, but can you see if it's inside or outside? You really have a better angle from where you're at than where that poor guy is that you've been yelling at for the last 3 or 4 innings, right? And then she's like grabbing my knee because I just didn't really want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And he was like, well. And then he started kind of getting, not chesty, but he started arguing, and his wife grabbed him. No, calm down. But I said, listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but it doesn't make any sense to me, right? And I said, so help me. So he shut up for maybe an inning, and then went right back into it. That's what I'm talking about. That's hard. Softball is not an easy sport because people have an opinion from wherever else. Listen, there's people that were behind it just kept on going throughout the whole game.
Well, then if it was true, they would put umpires at those locations.
But think about it. This is October. It's fall ball. So you got one guy. This poor knucklehead. He's by himself. Anything that happens out in the field, he's got to run out there. This and that, whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about the umpires by himself.
Yes.
Oh, see,
He's doing the game all by himself.
Okay.
Because now think about it. More than likely,
that's a lot.
They don't want to pay more than just to have one guy there
right.
for fall ball.
Right.
You know, there's costs involved. I get it. I totally get it. But softball, like you said, balls and strikes.
Well,
nope.
Well,
it's like
the cost thing.
That's a hard no, as Bevilacqua would say.
Well, the cost thing. Back to one of my earlier comments.
Right.
Parents are organizing all this stuff. They're creating for-profit organizations and charging fees, right? But it's not so that they can pay the umpires. I mean, look, the nonprofit ones, like the local baseball organizations, whatever, they're trying to keep the field maintenance up. No one's making any money, right?
Right.
But the AAU organizations, the things that have, the bigger venues as for profit, they're there to make money as well. If they were to have the extra funds and pay for more officials, you might get a better game and have less of that.
You might, yeah.
It's still not gonna. It might dampen it, but it's not gonna fix it.
But think about it. Think about the time of the year too.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about fall ball, and it's the end of October, for God's sake.
Maybe that's where I'm ignorant because I don't know much about that side of it.
Listen, I purposely don't want to. I just don't. And I've been approached to do that, just like lacrosse. I was doing football. I was doing basketball. And they are hurting, as we always talk about. We'll talk about it every single show. We don't have enough people. We don't have any of the young people coming in to fill from behind that the people that have been out there for 30, 40 years have been doing. We don't have anybody they don't want to do it. Nobody's filling
If you'd like
in.
to be an official.
Hey, in the comments, make sure you let us know if you're really interested, because we can help you. We have connections. We can help people do it. And mind you, when we tell you these things, some of it's fun. What do we say? It's cathartic to be able to discuss it and laugh about it, like that kind of stuff. But in general, it's a good time because we're doing this.
Yeah.
This would have never came to be if, in fact, we weren't enjoying ourselves and having a lot of experience, that kind of stuff. And they actually pay pretty decent now. And we went through all that.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't paying well at all.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the expression? What's that movie? For the love of the game or
Yes.
something like that? Yeah, well, we were loving the games that we were doing.
Well,
but now, at least they're finally realizing they got to pay for people to show up and do it.
And I'll honestly say, yes, I'm compensated, but I really do enjoy officiating. And I think I don't want to.
It's not an anxiety kind of a thing?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's like, I feel like I really do enjoy it. And we talk about some of the horror stories and stuff like that. And
Well,
of course,
we have to.
And look,
people really want to know that.
This is actually kind of therapeutic for me because, like, I got to get for every one bad game, there's probably 9 or 10 good games. But
Right.
this is an outlet for us as well.
Oh,
So I
without
don't
a
want to
doubt.
turn people off to officiating, but like, this is just a way for us to get out. Like, hopefully we can temper the bad stuff and increase the good stuff and increase the body of officials,
Right.
the quality of officials as well. And as a matter of fact, and we'll come back to baseball in a second because I still want to talk about baseball. But when I was doing summer AAU ball, I guess late spring, early summer AAU ball, I saw a coach at a couple different venues. And he and I started to get to know, like, when I would walk in the gym, what was going to happen. And I tossed him out of a couple of games.
Right.
He and I actually became pretty good friends.
Really?
Because after a couple of ejections and on the rules he'd fight about, he'd find out that I was correct. He became an official.
Stop it.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So there isn't always, there is a light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. I don't want to
Right.
make it all negative, but we need more of that. We need more people to be self-deprecating. You know what? I was wrong, or I'll give it a shot. Especially the animated guys. You know so much. What's going on here? Help us.
We do say that. I mean, we do invite people. I mean, especially if somebody's being like overly obnoxious or whatever the case may be. It is something to say. Because, listen, I'm human. I can only take so much before I have to at least mock somebody. Because if they're killing me, I might as well say, listen, PIAA.org, all right? Take the test, come out here and help us. We are trying to get more officials. And we would love for you to come out and help us if you want to. But if you're just going to sit there and just
Right.
that's no good either. That's not fun. That's not helping anything.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's certainly not helping anything. So,
Back to baseball, I saw one of the most despicable things, and you can actually find this video on YouTube. I think you just need to search catcher lets ball go or something like that. So the coach, this is like a U13 baseball game.
wait a minute. I already know which one you're talking about. It's a girls softball game, right?
Was it girls softball? Was a boys U13 baseball?
No. Well, maybe it might have been another one. But there was
a
a girls softball game. This has been, oh my God. This is the one we've been sending around for the last several years. The guy, they didn't like to call balls and strikes or whatever it was, so the guy calls timeout. He goes out to the mound, gets his girls together, all the ponytails are flying and all that kind of stuff, and he tells them, this is what we're going to do. So they set up, she throws the pitch, and the catcher stands up and walks away so that the ball hits the umpire in the face.
Yep.
The coach told her to do it.
Yeah.
I'm calling 911. I'm getting somebody arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's been out there for at least 5 years.
So what we've got now in this situation, back to the whole pitching thing, is
Actually,
you've got an adult.
Yeah, go ahead.
You've got an adult instructing kids to strike another adult because they don't like the way they're calling the game.
Yeah. And like I said, I started to go. That has been bothering me for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like ever since I saw that from the beginning. It's crazy. And that's criminal. Like there's no way in hell that should be happening. There's just no way. And I've never followed up on it to find out if anything can come of it, but that is so over the top ridiculous. And you are making minors commit a crime. You're making teenage females commit a crime. That's a crime. That's assault and battery. At least I think so.
Well, actually, so let's.
That's
I guess
crazy.
there's a fine line, but like I would agree, if the guy's not wearing stripes, okay, and we're at a parking lot, and you just take a baseball or softball out of your car and you throw it and hit somebody,
right?
It is assault.
Yeah.
So because it's in the context of a game, it gets overlooked as, well, that coach was getting back at the umpire because the umpire sucked.
Yeah.
God forbid we have a conversation, right? No, we're going to go have him get struck by a baseball. Well, I've seen other stuff too, where like, and I don't have a specific source for this, but I've seen this video too, where they run a crossing pattern in a football game and take out the middle your position on the football field.
Oh, the umpire?
Yeah, the umpire.
Yeah, no kidding.
You've got to take an umpire out because
You really want to go to that?
absolutely. Have you experienced I know. Oh, wait, maybe we're gonna forget baseball today, but like,
Let's go to football.
Yeah.
So, in a high school game, 10 years ago, and it's 10 years ago because it was that long ago and I remember it distinctly. And my father was actually at this game, and he could tell us about it too. But I'm the umpire, so I'm next to the linebackers. Okay, on the defensive side, I get the ball every play and spot it before the offense will take it and run their play.
right.
So the home team, which is in Delco, and Delco is its own wonderful place where fun things happen, right? So
That's very generous of you.
it is very generous of me.
Sorry, Delco.
Hey, listen.
Everybody knows.
And by the way, I'm half Delco because my mother's from Delco, so I spent a lot of time down there.
How are you half Delco?
I'm half Delco. My mother's from.
Did you live in Delco?
I spent a hell of a lot. My mother's from Delco.
So
I've
you
got
say you spent
bloodlines.
time in.
I've got.
So you're saying
bloodlines.
Delaware County is inherited? Bruno,
Yes.
we're gonna plug you.
Oh yeah, what's going on over
Hey,
here?
so this is Brian Bruno.
Hey,
So Brian, you do the we were talking about your freelance photography, your Polaroids.
Bruneroids.
Bruneroids.
Yeah, that's me.
So you have a site? Do you have anything we can avoid?
Instagram, Google. If you just put Bruneroids in, it's like 20 different pages
Can
of
you
my
spell
work.
it for us?
BRUNOROIDS.
Great.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'll give you a plug. We were distracted by the two female, and I said, so Brian does the work with them in his Polaroids, and it's
Yeah.
very classy.
Thank you.
Very, very excellent work.
And also, my second book's going to be coming out shortly.
Great.
So, yeah. Thank
Good
you,
job,
Eric.
bud.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
All right, Bruno. Thank you. So we might as well reload while we're in the middle of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Back to
I'm
Delco.
partially. So I was doing a game and it's Delco. It was Interborough. So I was at Interborough.
Okay.
And their football field is in the middle of a neighborhood on the other side of the railroad tracks. I can't make that stuff up,
Right.
And nice people. I mean, we had a good time. But in this game, so did we discuss our beers?
Oh, well, go ahead. Give the plug to Stable 12.
Okay. So we did stop at Stable 12 on the way in because it is a local establishment, like right around the corner, as a matter of fact. So I decided to try the High Horse, which is the double IPA 8.0, as a matter of fact. It's quite good, as a matter of fact. So, and you went with the,
I went
you're
with
going to have to do it.
sugar-coated pony kisses.
Yeah, click that. Yeah.
Just the name alone
Senior, get out of the way.
says it all.
It just kisses your lips.
It just kisses your lips.
It's actually my wife's favorite beer.
Is it really?
Yeah. And I knew you were going there, so I was like, you know what? I can drink a ton of these.
You can?
These are easy to drink.
As long as she likes it. Yes, it's a Yes Dear beer.
It's a yes dear beer.
Yes, there you go.
Well, they have a We Are. They have a We Are lager,
Right.
Which is I like their We Are lager,
Right.
But for the show, I felt like let's go with a little higher alcohol content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. What's that, 6.8 or something like that?
No, actually, I think it's just below 6. It's like 5.8 or 5.55. It's not a strong beer.
So Stable 12, for sponsorship opportunities, make sure you contact us. When you see this YouTube, our YouTube channel is Referee
Roulette.
Roulette.
All right, so we're going to end today's show before our canopy blows away
Yes,
and
we
more
are
women show
Referee
up.
Roulette on YouTube. Referee Roulette. I am Dan Falcone and Eric.
Ebo, and please like or subscribe to the channel. And we need things to talk about other than, unless you want to keep hearing us talk about whatever we are talking about, please leave a comment below and help us out. Thanks so much.
See you next time.